So looking at places to actually put the mobile phone holder, you've got a vent here. It's a little loose though, so that will move around a lot if you're on it. There's a very stable, solid vent there, but it is very thick. And then on the console itself, on the iris, there's a very small flat area there, and then a decently long flat area there, but it is curved. So that's the problem that we have. You want the phone there, but you've got limited places to put it. So the first option was a nice, simple, clicky, beaked air vent holder. Trying to get it on this one, there's just nothing for it to really grab on. And then trying to get on this one, it's just not, you can see the angle that that's at, it's opening, so it just slides off. So this one, sadly, is not much use. I did think about putting 3M tape there and then sticking it on here, but you can see the angle there, it's looking forward. So this one, sadly, is of no use. The next option was one of these classic kind of interference fit, again kind of bird beak air vent magnetic holders. So we try to put it on this one. We're going to hit the same problem in that it just doesn't really want to go on, and it's too loose anyway, so we'll knock that one out again. Now on this one, you can get it quite far on. You've really got to push it on there, as you can see, but it does go all the way in. Now this ends up being a reasonably strong mount. I did use this for a while. It was my default. So when you put the phone on there, it does cover a little of the iris, but you do have the nice adjustability of it, and it typically would stay on there in all normal driving until you get really spirited, and then it can come off. So if you look here, you'll see the pressure required to pull it off is reasonably hard. It's sort of medium. So it's livable for daily driving, and it certainly is a nice quick, you just kind of push pressure on there and you're good to go. So it's livable, but it's certainly not the ultimate. So the next one was this rather well made air vent clip. Now it's adjustable, so as you screw it in, you'll see that this red piece is going to come in, and you can therefore get this very, very tight, and the magnet's very strong. However, the problem is it doesn't fit. So when this is at its max, it's still, that's too deep, and this is way too deep. That is actually closing in on sort of 8-9 centimeters. So while this would be good in other cars, it doesn't reach in here, and it doesn't reach in there. So therefore the sadly well made one is useless. Following on from this, I now tried a range of GoPro mounts. So the first one is, I think it's a cap mount. As you can see, it's kind of bird beak, and we'll see how this goes. So here's the bird beak trying on here. So again, you can push it reasonably hard on there, but similar to the other ones, you can see it's opening this way rather than clamping down, because the air freshener blade is just too thick. So again, with just a little bit of a pull and it'll come off. So would it work? Maybe. Yeah, there's a bit there, but boom. So again, I don't think that one's going to be the best solution. Next up, we have a curved GoPro mount. So the typical helmet sticky pad. And I was trying to see if that would fit in there. And it's not, you just can't get enough in there. You can see the vent, well, here we go. You can see the vent stopping it going any further in. So it would get some register, but again, it's not going to be perfect. It's not great. So helmet mount, probably not going to work. And the last of the GoPro ideas, a standard flat circular sticky mount with 3M tape. And if you're putting that in there, again, there's just not enough room. Let me come around this side. there's just not enough room for it to get there. So there's nowhere really, there's not enough for it to register a purchase to stick. Could you go there? Maybe, but it's going to look pretty hideous. And again, it's on a curve. So circular GoPro mount? No. Sticky pads. So this one looked like it had potential in the advert. Simply just a sticky pad on the bottom and then a ball joint adjustable on the top. So I was hoping to put it here and then have it nicely out here. And you can see it could sort of work, but sadly it's just too short. If this arm was a little longer, or well, longer, and it could come down a little more, it would be perfect. Nice and neat, nice and simple, but sadly it just doesn't fit. Could you put it there? Probably not. There's not enough for it to register on, and there's not enough really to register on the front, or I wouldn't want to risk it really. So sadly, unless there's a longer version of this, I don't think this one will work. Now the next one, another bird beak, but this time you can clamp it down yourself. And this one was more promising. Now it's going to take 2 hands for me to put this on. I didn't like it on here because there's too much movement, but on here is where I'm just going to clamp it now, but I'll need 2 hands, so give me a second. Okay, that's it on there. As you can see, it's clamped down from the top, or you could turn it upside down if you want. It is a nicely adjustable wherever you wish it to point mount, and there's a good amount of strength and clamping going on there. This was my go-to mount for a good couple of weeks, and I would certainly put this one as a usable. It's so nice that you can just simply angle it where you want. It stays there. It never came off on road driving, fast road driving, and it's just super easy because it's magnetic. So that is a possibility, this one. And now we're on to 2 very similar contenders, which are this style. Now what these do, try and do this one-handed, is they expand up and out. So you end up with something like this. Now the beauty of this one is it can rotate. So technically that one can sit under here and I can rotate it down to where I need it. So that is quite useful. It gets full register on there of the sticky pad, and it's nicely adjustable. This is another sticky pad one, magnetic again, so it can pretty much go all the way under there, and again it can be rotated, so that can live under there and it can point as and where you want, so it can rotate. So that is another potential option. I think the circle fits well with these other circles. So this is very similar to the oval one, but I think this one's a little more kind of color coordinated, etc., if you're so bothered. But again, you can get right on there and get registered on the flat surface. So which one did I settle on? Well, I preferred this one, which is the circular one. It means that you're able to angle it, you're able to twist it wherever you want it, and to me it kind of sits in with the circular dials and switches. The only difference was it came with very poor glue on the base. The sticky pad was not very good, so I changed that, peeled off the sticky pad and put on proper 3M vehicle double-sided tape, and then that is a solution. And I think that works reasonably well. I'm happy with that, and it doesn't come off in road driving, spirited driving, bumpy roads. You've just got to make sure you use the decent 3M pad on it. So that's my choice. And with that solution, if anyone is looking for phone mounts, just give me a shout. I've got quite a few.